Well, I accidentally hit the button too soon. So we'll just kind of wait a few minutes until we actually hit 10 o'clock. But that'll give me time to turn my computer on and maybe some overhead lights so I don't have all these glares. Oh, and we'll kind of tidy up the situation here. Ooh. Hello, Karen. How's it going? I was just saying I actually hit my button a little too soon, but that's okay, right? It's given me a few seconds to turn my computer on. Yes, good Thursday morning for sure. Hello, Kat. Hello, Laura, Karen. Yeah, so I was mentioning just a few minutes ago that I accidentally, because I was setting up and I was ready to go and I was going to kind of, putz around just a little bit. And I accidentally hit the go live. And, I didn't want to hit it and then have to do it and set it all up again. So I just stayed on. So we're not really at 10 o'clock just yet, but we're getting very close. But thanks for jumping on. What's new, you guys? What you been doing? Oh, hello, Karen. I love it. Yeah. So what's been keeping you busy? What did you do for Memorial Day? Anything fun, crazy, wild? I've been to Sun Valley twice since then, and it's been fun. It's been good fun. So if you don't know what Sun Valley is, it's a valley, a little bit more east and north of Boise, and it's popular for the Sun Valley Resort. But the towns Ketchum, Haley, and Bellevue are quite charming. Especially, I really love Haley. I think it's really, really cool. Yay! Laura's on summer break. That's awesome. All right. So as soon as that clock hits 10, we're going to start. I will be telling about the photography. Thank you, Kat, for saying something and for recognizing that I have a contest going on right now. So let's see here. It's 10. So you guys and 10 o'clock are my cue. So good Thursday morning and welcome to Upstyle Your Paper Pumpkin. Today's class is all about May's Paper Pumpkin Kit, which is called Mountain Majesties. And at first glance, I thought these cards are pretty simple, but man, are there like tons and tons and tons of pieces in this kit that it's really fun to make all kinds of things. I have way too many projects planned for today, which means we have at least one, maybe two bonus videos that will pop up in the next few days of more projects featuring the Mountain Majesties. Okay, so hi, Kayleen. How is everything going for you and Steve in St. George? Hopefully this is just a kind of a good little side distraction for you today. If I'm looking to the side, it's because I can see comments on my computer come in a little faster than on my phone. All right, so Kat asked, I usually don't pack in a lot of chatting at the beginning, but one, I started the video too soon, 3 minutes too early. And two, Kat asked about my photo contest. All right, so this is backwards right now. But this photo contest, I was driving in the car the other day and I listened to River Boise when I'm driving around in town. It's a great, easy listening with some new, current, interesting music. And they were announcing a photo contest and it just any picture of Idaho. And I'm like, ooh, I've got a really cool picture of Idaho. Usually this area I've been to in the winter for snowmobiling and then going in their hot springs. But this is Bergdorf Hot Springs in the summer. It was taken last July and it had rained all morning and I just snapped the picture and the light. I did not edit this picture at all. The only thing I edited was the size. I just cropped it in just a little bit. But the color and everything is as it was taken. And Mother Nature just gave me this beautiful, beautiful, quirky, characteristic photo. Go and vote. It's at, I know this is backwards, but just show me up for right now. riverboise.com, and it's contests. Vote for me as many times as you want. It takes a few hours, but you can go back and vote again and again and again. I had a really strong hold on it, and then it completely reversed, and I went to 38%, but I jumped back, and I've overtaken my opponent, which his photo is beautiful too. You may want to vote for his, but no, don't vote. Just vote for mine, okay? So, any other questions about the photo contest? It's on my Seeing Ink Spots. It's in the Backstage Pass. It's in my page. Please, please, please go and vote. I want to get out of the first bracket. I'm not even quite sure what the prize is. I just had a good picture and wanted to enter. And then I'm a competitive person. So, oops. Now I have the urge to win. And you're going to help me do it. Yay. All right. That is, yes, you can vote more than once. And use your phone, use your computer, use your iPad. Go vote on all of your devices. I have found that if you vote and then clear it and wait about an hour or two, you can vote again. So, little sneaky, but hey, it's fun. It's the art of being online and doing contests online. So, all right. So let's get on. Oh my goodness. So much to talk about today. Holy moly. All right. Let's turn the camera and let's begin with a bit of business, and then we're going to stamp. All right. Here comes the hand. I know it's your favorite part. Okay. Let's see if we can get this in here. I'm at 68% because this morning I was at 53 and he had taken over and I was at 38%. Okay, so here's that photo. I hate that they have it so small and pixelated. You can't even see. The detail in this is crystal clear and it's beautiful. I love this old truck. I wouldn't mind one of those on my property. I wouldn't even mind that on my property. I'm a little bit weird. Okay, so now you know way too much about me. Cool. I'm glad you will vote again today. All right. The business for today. First off, there is a sweet sale going on with Stampin' Up. If you purchase an item that is in a suite, you're going to purchase a second item, or if you want to purchase a second item in a suite collection, you're going to get that one at 50% off. So it could be the entire suite collection. It could be an element from the suite collection. Just be sure that if you order 3 elements from a suite collection, know that you're going to pay for the most expensive, and the least expensive is going to be the one that's 50% off. So just be aware. And if you need help, I will totally help you out. And I can answer any questions. But I ended up buying 2 pre-order suites. So as a demonstrator, a pre-order started Tuesday. And then, so for stuff that will be available for customers in July. So I ordered 2 of those suite collections. So I got 2 suite collections, full suite collections for $90. 90. That's awesome. So I'm talking the stamp set, the dies, the paper, the embellishments. So fun. So if you have questions, I think you're going to enjoy this. All right. So that's business number 1. Class is coming up. All right. Mark your calendars. Next week, we are going to mash up in the Backstage Pass. The Backstage Pass is my VIP group. So next Thursday at 10 a.m., just like this week, we're going to stamp again. And I am going to mash up the You Are Remarkable stamp set with the Country Woods Designer Series paper. I don't know. I just felt that these two would totally be fun to bring together. And the Country Woods paper is, it's in the annual catalog, so it has carried over. So what fun. So Laura has purchased on the sweet sale, and so has Kayleen. Awesome. We should have just a little chat in the Backstage Pass. Who got what? What are you loving? All right. In 2 weeks in the Backstage Pass, so that's my VIP group. Anybody can be a member of my VIP group. I'm going to be doing an Upstyle Your Kits collection class featuring Beautiful Blues. This is a new kit that was introduced in May. And let me tell you, it's gorgeous. I mean, it's super, super pretty. These are the way you would put them together as the kit. I slightly rearranged them. I think this greeting was supposed to be here, but you get the idea. But look at these pieces and how gorgeous they are. We're going to have some fun upstyling this kit, just making a few changes and some fancy folds. We'll have some fun with that. That'll be in 2 weeks. So have your beautiful blues kit handy, and we'll have some fun with that. All right, that's in 2 weeks. Let's see what else is coming up. The big class of the month. And this is how you get into the VIP group that I call Seeing Ink Spot's Backstage Pass. Register for this class, and you will become a lifetime member of my Backstage Pass VIP group. How cool is that? Okay, so for those of you who are a member of the Backstage Pass, in the comments, will you just say one thing that you really enjoy about that group? I'm just curious to even see what you guys think, but share with others, please. Okay, so this class, you can get it 3 ways. We're going to either have a PDF for those who have their elements already from this suite collection or who are out of the United States. Another way is to purchase the kit that will be shipped right to your door for $37. Or the third way, and I'm holding 4 fingers. That's really brilliant. This is a lot harder than it used to be when I was little. Okay, so the third way is to place an order. If you place an order for $75, you are going to get the Global Ink Collective Floral Impressions, which is this right here. You're going to get that tutorial bundle for free, which includes 12 tutorial bundles from current and past artisans. And you're also going to get the kit, and you're also going to get it shipped to your door for free. So, plus, if you combine it with this, yeah, good stuff, Maynard. All right, let me show you a little bit about that class. Here is the kit. This is a mock-up. I've kind of changed things up, but you get a kit. You're not going to have a full pack of those. I've got some other plans and more things in store. And here is the bundle you will need. You will die cut any pieces from this. I will die cut everything else. So if we use something from the postage dies or the textured notes, I'll have that. Or maybe the keys again from I don't even remember. Those vintage keys. I love them. All right. So there's that. And then 1 month, we will upstyle our paper pumpkin right here in the Backstage Pass, right here in Seeing Ink Spot's business page. So, and this is the Full of Charm. You have just a few more days to subscribe for this. This is going to be gorgeous. They've shown a lot of sneak peeks at this. So I'm really excited for this one. And today it's all about Mountain Majesties. So look at that. We made it through the business talk of today. All right, now I'm just kind of rearranging my space here so I can get to everything. I want to talk about one more thing before we begin. This past weekend, I went to a Utah, Idaho demonstrator meeting at Stampin' Up's home office in Riverton. And Riverton is, it's just south of Salt Lake. And so it was a fun event. We used the beautiful blues the night before, and then the next day, man, it was jam-packed with all kinds of info. And they gave us, this is a brand new kit for June. This is called Pop-Up Pals. And this kit, it's $10. It makes 4 cards, but the cards are insanely creative. They have these pop-up pals inside. I'm just giving you a quick look at the monkey one. But look at this banana card base, super cute. And the greeting is cute. Anyways, you put them inside and then these pals pop up at you. So I am going to do, I'm thinking I'm going to do an extra video, probably later in the month. I'm not going to change the insides at all because they're fabulous. I'm not going to upstyle them. I'm going to upstyle the fronts just a little bit, maybe adding some dimension and some ribbon and some things like that, some gems. So look for that video. And if you want to purchase this kit, it's called Pop-Up Pals, and it is now available. So I have one more bit of information here for you. So much is going on. All right. I have an extra stamp set for this month's Mountain Majesties, and I'm going to give this away and the cards I make today. All right. This is a huge package worth $10 million. Yeah, right. Anyhow, so you're going to get the stamp set. You're going to get my cards that I have made today. If you do the following: like this video, share this video, and vote for my picture on riverboise.com. And go back and keep voting. Anyways, do that, and I will be sending you that. If you are not a member of the Backstage Pass, I'm going to throw in membership to the Backstage Pass. So, fun stuff going on today. Enter to win a fabulous prize. As I said, worth $10 million. All right, let's now dive in to what we're here to do today, and that is to stamp using the Mountain Majesties kit. All right, so my first card, can you believe it? It took this long, 11 minutes to get to the beginning. That's way longer than I normally chat. You are winning on your photo. Well, let's keep it that I'm winning on my photo, Jacqueline. Keep voting, keep voting. Use all your devices. Grab your husband's phone. Vote for him. That's what I did with Newell's phone the other night. All right, this is the first card we're going to do, and it's pretty simple. And so I want to go through the steps to create this card here. It may look like, oh, it's just a simple fold back card. And then you open it, and we see that inside greeting. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly how to make this. But first, we're going to start with a technique that I'm going to use on the next 3 cards here. Okay, the next 3 cards are going to include what I call a puzzle piecing technique. And it's as simple as this. You're going to take this piece from your kit and your paper snips, and we're going to cut right along this line right here. And I know you could create these kind of elevation changes with the pieces that they give you in the kit, but I'm kind of extending the kit and making a whole bunch more. Okay, so now I'm going to cut along the lake line, right like so. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fingernail. You can also use your scissors, but I'm going to distress the edge of these pieces. Let me move this out of the way. Okay, so we're going to distress the edges here. Just curious, how many of you are have your kit? Is anybody creating alongside with me? Okay, so there's my first piece. And we'll do the same thing to this top mountain. This edge is a little tricky, but just kind of get it in there. Tell it who's boss. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll back a second here. So let people know to keep voting. Yes, keep voting. Keep voting. Go to riverboise.com and vote. Go to contests and vote. I'm in the very first of all of the photos. It's me and some guy named Robert. His photo is beautiful. Mine's more interesting, I think. It's just more quirky. It's me. All right, so there's that piece. And then let's do the lake line as well. The cool thing about doing this little technique to the lake line is it looks a little bit like you've got some little, some lakes have little gentle waves. So that's kind of what this looks like. Okay. Now we're just going to put all of this back together. So I'm going to do just a tiny bead. Okay, so Laura is prepping alongside me. That's awesome. Tiny bead of glue right here on this edge. Okay, I'm at 54%. Okay, so this morning I was 53. Keep voting, keep voting. Thank you, Kayleen. Okay, so I don't really want to overlap too much. Just a little bit, just enough to glue it together, back together. Okay, and we'll fringe those again. And this one, I think I'm going to put glue on this edge because I'm not quite sure how far over to go. So, and I wish my left hand would stop shaking. It does it when I get excited. And I'm excited to be here stamping with y'all today. Okay. I watch your magic first, then make the cards. Okay, that's awesome, Kat. Well, and then if I use something that you might not have, it gives you a minute to kind of go, okay, what do I have in my stash that would work well? Because I am going to be adding some things in here in a minute. This particular card only uses elements from the kit. Okay, so there I've put that all back together. Another a little bit more of some prep that I'm going to do with my paper snips here is this piece is intended to go in the corner, but I have it in more to the other side. So I'm going to shape the tree right here. I'm just going to kind of follow. It's kind of faint, but there's a dark line right in there. And I'm just going to kind of follow that tree and make it look just a little bit more natural and like it's not meant to be on a corner, okay? All right, so getting my pieces ready, I need this piece here, and we're gonna stamp this with the Misty Moonlight spot that came with the kit. And of course I grabbed a spot that's not been opened. Okay, so for this month, usually I only get one kit, but this was kind of a special month. I have 3 kits, and that's because at that meeting that I mentioned that was in Riverton, I was asked to do a business presentation. And so I did a business presentation on Upstyle Your Paper Pumpkin. And I had used that one, but now that I have 3 kits wandering around, I have a lot of pieces here and there. Okay, so I'm just inking this up, and I'm going to stamp this right in the center. Okay. Cute. Looks nice. Looking nice. Okay, so there's my Stampin', and my pieces are all ready. I need to do just a little reconfiguring here. All right, so usually on a fold back card, the very, very first one I ever did was just 1 inch, but I wanted to make this one just a little bit different. And so this fold back card, we are going to cut in 2 places. One, we're going to bring our trimmer in and we're going to cut 1.5 inches off of this side. Okay. Hello, Barbara. Good to see you here. Good to see everybody here. All right. So to get to 1.5, I'm just going to turn this upside down and put this in at 1.5 and just chop that right off. Okay. Then I'm going to turn this around. So now that was the front of the card. This is the back of the card. And I'm going to put it at 1.5 again. And I'm going to get your cutting blade out of the way. And I'm going to score. Okay, so I've scored it at 1.5 from the edge. So let's kind of do a little bit here. We're going to fold this one. So there's our card front. And then this one here is actually going to fold backward. Okay, so we'll fold backward on that one. And so here is our card base, all right? So the score line that they gave us, fold as usual. The score line we created at 1.5 is gonna be a mountain fold. You're gonna fold it back, all right? Then this piece here, we're going to put this piece on with, let's see what I did. I glued it. Sometimes I glue, sometimes I dimensional them. It just depends. So we're going to glue this piece down, and we're going to glue it right to this panel. We're just putting it back together, okay? It's kind of like that kintsugi, putting it back together, or Humpty Dumpty. Okay, there's that. Then we're going to take this piece here, and it's going to go on like so. But what I want to do before I put this on is I am going to cut this piece in half, or not in half, but I'm going to cut it at 1.5. So I'm going to turn it upside down so I can put that same edge at 1.5, and we're just going to slice this right at 1.5. Okay, and I'm going to take some dimensionals. And this piece is going to go on with dimensionals. I think I'm going to just do 4 on this, just to kind of keep it nice and tidy. So just 4 dimensionals there. Okay, let me see. So Alicia says, Hi, everyone. We'll definitely vote again. Does anyone know if there's a limit to how many times? They've never said. So, Alicia, they've never said, and I just only figured out you could vote more than one time yesterday. So, yes, I've got another mountain range there, but that's okay. It looks great. Okay. And I'm going to put this side on with dimensionals as well. Okay, look at that. We're double fisting on these. Doing 2 at a time. Speeding up here. Okay. All right, this piece is going to set. And you're just going to kind of line it up. Right on your card front there. Okay. Got a little glue right there. So let me see. Let me kind of clean that up while I can get there. Let's see. Catching up on the comments here. Hello, Lori Healy. Hello, Vicky. Good to have you here. It's always fun to see some new friends. Dana says, Liz's presentation last weekend was great. Learned a few more tricks. Okay, well, there's more tricks to come today because you're getting the full thing. All right, so there is the base of my fold back card, okay? Then the last thing we're going to do, let's see, I got it on a little crooked there, but that's okay. I'm going to set this right where I want it to go, which is going to be right about here. But what I'm going to do is make sure that I'm kind of looking at it. I'm giving a close look. I'm just going to flip it over. And I know that's not the way it's going to go, but that's how I know where to start and stop with my dimensionals. So my dimensionals are going to come over here to this side. And I'm going to bring them kind of over a little bit because I don't want them, when you open that card, to show too much. Okay. Alicia says, okay, we'll vote as many times as I can since I really love the picture. Good. You know what? You guys, you can download the picture if you want and have one for yourself. I think I'm going to have mine. I'm going to have mine printed, you know, not just out of my computer, but another way. Okay. So here is the magic of a fold back card is you just need something to kind of overlap that kind of latches it shut. Okay, so to finish this, I'm going to put my greeting. Sorry, you're hearing my last puppy. If anybody needs a really cute, adorable puppy, as she's crying, going, is somebody going to play with me? She's all alone. She's the last one. All of her brothers and sisters have new homes. So she is adorable. She is the pick of the litter, actually. I call her Neko. They all had candy names. Okay, so there's my Happy Father's Day. So that also is part of the latch. And I feel like I kind of got that on crooked. Okay, so there's that. And then this last piece is going to go on the inside. Oh my. Sorry. Hey, let me just talk to her for a second and then she'll go out and play or something. So she's been playing with she's been playing with the big dogs here. All right. So there is that. I forgot the birds. We got to do the birds. Okay. So super cool. We have a bird image here. Hold on just a second. Neko, hey, I'm here playing with you. She just needs someone to tell her. She's like, am I alone? It's like, can't she hear me talking? Okay, here's this lovely bird image. And I'm going to stamp that on this side. Okay. And then I will stamp it again. I'm going to clean it because I don't want quite as many birds. Can you bring her on the camera for us to see? Yes, she is a cute dog. Hold on, I will get her. It's going to be interesting because I'm not quite, maybe at the end I'll flip it back. Okay, so I just, without using masking tape, I just inked up the 6 birds over here. All right, I am going to pick her up for just a second. Now, I didn't, this isn't part of the kit, but you know she's always invited to the party. So I'm just going to kind of highlight some of these areas, especially the water. And give it a flick. Okay, I'm going to get her because she's not going to shut up. Come here. Come here, Neko. Come here. Hi, pretty girl. Hello. He wants to see you, but I don't know how I'm going to flip it. All right. Here's her paws. There's her nose. She needs a haircut. She's a fluff ball right now. It's like, here, roll over, girl. Show him your face. Hi. All right, she just needed attention for a second. Hopefully now she'll be quiet. All right, so there is our first card. We have warmed up our Stampin' muscles here, and that is the fold back card. What are the other candy names you used for the pups? Whopper, Taffy, Gummy, Skittle. Oh, wait, I've forgotten one. Oh, Neko. So Whopper, Taffy, Gummy, Neko, Skittle, Sixlet, and Razzle. And Razzle was little. And the runt isn't always the last one born, but he happened to be the last one born. And he was Razzle, then we just called him Runt because he was so much littler than everybody else. Okay, card number 2. We're going to do the same puzzle piecing effect, but we're going to create something just a little bit different than we did the first time. And so the pieces you are going to need is a card base. And I'm missing one. I need a vellum piece here that I'm missing. So you're going to need the large vellum piece. That's going to go there. We're going to puzzle this one again, just like we did. And then I also have some cloud cover coming into the mix here. I love this color. I love it, love it, love it. And I have die cut it with the textured notes dies. So I've mentioned before, these are like a really nice, great pair of jeans or, when you need a basic black skirt. This is something to have in your library of dies, and that is this set of stitched rectangles. They're all just a little bit different, but oh, how I have enjoyed working with them. So I have die cut this one. Just so you know, this one measures, let's see how it measures. I'm working one-handed here because I still have Neko in my hands. This one measures 2 3/4 across. So that's the one you're looking for. And that's, you can see the design. That's the design. That might help you find it too. I have a scrap of, this is the Secret Sea faux linen ribbon. Okay, so I have that. I also have, I've taken some linen thread and colored it with, I didn't have Secret Sea blends, so I actually colored it with black. And then I went over it just a little bit with Misty Moonlight so that I could kind of blue it up just a little bit. And so it does, it kind of looks like Secret Sea, even though it's black and Misty Moonlight. So that's how I colored my linen thread. So, and this is gonna be for the end, so that's coming up. Now, I'm also going to use the Hugs Abloom dies. So what I have found fascinating about this set of dies, I'm gonna put her down. Okay, I'm being brave and letting her roam. She's actually almost potty trained. I say that and watch her just go. So there's the hugs. There's this stitched label. You have a leaf, and then you have this flower. These, I think, are intended for next month. However, they all work. This set of 4 dies has worked perfect last month, this month, and next month. So if you don't have these, they are still available. But holy moly, I love them. $12, $166,238. Get yourself the Hugs Abloom dies. They are a great little collection. So, hugs. I have die cut the word hugs from Secret Sea, one of my new very favorite colors, that and cloud cover. Yum. I've also cut it from the thick basic white. And this I like to glue together so that, it's kind of a nice way of adding just a little bit more dimension without trying to skinny cut a bunch of teeny tiny little dimensionals. Okay, so just a few dots of glue here and there, and we'll put the hugs together. And layer as many as you want. Sometimes if I want it to have a little bit more dimension, especially if it's a bigger word die cut than this one, I'll go ahead and do anywhere from 3 to 4. Laura looked away and didn't see Neko. That's why you don't want to leave my classes. You're going to miss something. I will show her. I will flip the camera at the very end so you can get a good view of her. She's cute. She needs a home. I'm happy to deliver anywhere between Boise and San Jose. Anywhere along the way. All right, so there, my Hugs is ready for later. That's ready. You've seen the dies. Don't forget to purchase these dies. You're going to love them. Okay, let me just throw them back in here. I have everything die cut for today just because I have so many projects and I want to share them all with you. All right, so there's that. And you're going to need one of the pieces from the kit. This is the larger of the labels. Say it with me, the larger label. That's an ongoing joke. And we're going to stamp this. We're going to stamp this. We're going to stamp using some of the Misty Moonlight. And I'm going to bring in a little bit of the Secret Sea ink. So I really enjoy this color. It's a nice alternative to black. But look how cool it looks with black. So kind of nice, kind of fun. And I'm going to stamp the happy birthday image. So let me just take this one off. It's another one of the greetings. So we want happy birthday. And let me bring this in so I can see what I'm doing. Stamp on a contrasting color here. And I'm actually going to shift this over to the right just a little bit. Okay. So there's that stamping. And I'm going to take the bird image again. The big bird image. Big bird. That's funny. And this time, let me see if I can figure out, did I use this one? Maybe I used the little one. Oh, I used the little one now that I'm looking at it. And I'm going to stamp in Misty Moonlight this time. Okay. Yes, I agree, Karen. It all depends on what you're doing. So, yeah, it does. It just kind of, and it depends on the look I'm going for. Okay, so these birds are just going to kind of frame in the happy birthday. Okay, I'm going to bring in a piece of scratch paper here for just a second. And I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to take my, my Misty Moonlight. The big dogs are outside barking and she wants to join in the chorus. All right. So there's a little Misty Moonlight on there. Yeah, that's right. You go in the other room and bark. Here's Lost Lagoon. I think what I'm going to do is put her outside and lock her outside because she's being disruptive today. It's like having a 2-year-old in class. She's a cute girl though. All right. So a little bit of, splattering on that. And I'm going to punch a hole in this upper corner and use any hole punch you have. This is just one I've had for many years. So we need a little hole there because that's going to how we're going to tie it on. Oh my gosh, chorus of barking dogs outside. All right, so this one, I've already kind of pre-cut my pieces just so you don't have to see me do that. You're going to do the same thing. So cut them apart, fringe them. Okay. We'll fringe again, and we're going to reassemble, but this time we aren't going to fully glue things together. We're going to form a pocket on this card, and it's going to be a kind of a pocket gift card holder type of look. Hello, Marcia. Happy to see you here. Jacqueline says, and some will still ask, which label was that? That's right. Even after we talked about it. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Let me show you the card finished. And then that way it will help you kind of understand where we are going to put our glue. Okay, so our glue, and you could actually make this a multi-pocket, but I didn't do that with this. So these are glued together. Oh, look, I didn't do the lake on this one, but I did on this one. Okay, well, no biggie. Got a little different, little variation. So here's where I made the pocket is with the vellum. So I'm going to flip my vellum over. We like having her in class. If it's not loud on this end, hold on. But I'm sure it is. Yeah, it's loud and it's distracting for me. I'm like, okay, what am I doing? All right, so I'm just doing a little bit of glue. And I am going easy on this glue. You could also use seal or tear and tape would probably be a better idea, because sometimes your glue, if you use too much glue, it will cause your vellum to curl. And we don't want any curling vellum. But because enough of this gets hidden, you're not going to see that glue line. Okay? All right. So there's that. So that's where my pocket will be, so that I can slip my gift card holder in there. Okay? And now let's glue this one. Let's start with the top hill. It's going to come in here. Then we have this one. It's going to kind of go right alongside it. So this one, I'm actually going to glue it on the paper here. And by doing that, I don't have to overlap them. I can just butt them together. Okay, but let me give my little distressed edge here. Okay, just get it in. All right, now we'll just glue these pieces on. Just a quick swoosh on this. Okay. I love this little puzzle piecing technique. I've done it quite a bit when we've had other landscape type things. And you've heard me say, you know, once you kind of have a cool technique or gimmick that you like, keep doing it. It's fun. All right, now this one, we've got to be careful when we glue this one down. So I don't want to put glue over here because I don't want to interfere with my pocket. So I'm going to kind of just do some glue on the bottom. So just be aware not to over glue over the vellum, because you want to have access to create that pocket. Okay, so we've puzzle pieced that all back together. It adds some fun, cool dimension without adding a lot of bulk. Let's give a fold to this card. I like to burnish my cards from the back side, just in case you have ink or something that comes off of this, which I always do. All right, it puts it on the back. Let's bring in our original here. So the word hugs, let's put that on. Poke out all the pieces. My word hugs is going to go right along the water line. And before I put it on, let me bring my scratch paper back in. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe you can. But I've painted the word hugs with Wink of Stella. And Wink of Stella on Secret Sea is gorgeous. All right? Try it for yourself, and you'll see just how fabulous it is. I mean, not everything has to sparkle. I don't care if this is intended for a guy, this card. They can have a little sparkle. It's from me. All right. So touch of glue on the back here in a few key places. I don't need to overdo it because we don't want it to come oozing out, right? Okay. Just enough to hold it down. So I'm going to slip this right along that lake line. Kind of hold it down for a second. Okay. Now let's take a look at our tag here. Our tag is really simple, but I want to share with you how I actually put this ribbon on. You might need like your hobby blade that attaches to your take your pick tool, which I have right here, but I always grab this one. And we're going to slip this through. Yeah, right, slip. We're going to coax it through. Just put it right through one of those. I'm trying to put it through the second one just so it has a little bit more of a reinforcer. Oh, there we go. So slip that through. Okay, we'll put this right there. And then we're going to tie it one time with our linen thread. Remember that I've colored my linen thread with black and then Misty Moonlight to create my own Secret Sea. I now do have the blends for Secret Sea, but I didn't back when I made this card. So I decided to make it the exact same way I did originally. So I'm going to hunker down on that to tighten that up. And then on one side, I'll add my tag here. And we'll tie a bow. And then I'll trim the ends. Okay. So, just kind of get the bow the way you like it. It takes a second to style these. I like to hold my finger on the knot, and then I like to tighten down in hopes of really getting it to hold its shape and that it doesn't come undone. Hold both ends, trim those ends, and then maybe clean this one up from where you put it through. And then I've got to even it up with this one. Okay. That finishes your gift card holder. And I've attached my gift card with glue dots, or you could use tear and tape that comes in the kit. But now you can see how easily this just slips right in. And I allow the happy birthday to kind of hang over and kind of like right in there. So it's happy birthday hugs. And here's my original. All right, so the only thing left on this is let's add, and I need just a little bit more glue on that. I would take a scrap and kind of tuck it under there. But I am going to use the In Color Flat Pearls. I have a second pack here because you can see I've gone through quite a few. I like to cut the bottom off mine so that I can open this up and just pull them out. But I'm going to do 3. I'm going to do a large, medium, and small. So here's a large, and I'm going to go right on that lake line. I will put the medium. So here are the 2 friends close by. Oh, I don't have another small, so I'm just going to use a medium. If I had a small, I would use a small. Oh, that's really big. You know what? This is why you have 2 packs. Okay, I think I need to do more projects with the strawberry slush and the darling duckling and the timid tiger. But here's a small one, and we'll do, yes, that's a much better fit. Yes, all right, so, yes, Karen, it is fun. Then on the inside, we're just gonna stamp the You Mean the World to Me and a few more birds. Okay, so a little bit of inside stamping. I really like this greeting a lot. And I'm gonna stamp it in, just like I did the tag, I'm gonna stamp with Secret Sea, and then I'll do the birds with the Misty Moonlight. These are color buddies, and there's not a huge difference in their color, but it does add just a little bit, just a hint of dimension. All right, so here's my little bird stamp, and I can hear Neko running around. Here's the little bird stamp, so I'm just gonna do some birds right up there. Oops, I did them in Secret Sea. I meant to do them in Misty Moonlight. All right, mistake. Not to worry. We're just going to do the other birds in Misty Moonlight, right? But I don't want them to be exactly the same. So I am going to I'm going to clean my stamp. And now I'm just going to pick up like 2 of the birds so that I can kind of change this image just a little bit. So just right on the corner of my stamp, I've inked up 2 of the birds, and then we'll add 2 more to that little grouping there. And it changes it ever so slightly. I'm all about customizing things and making them mine. I mean, even though everybody makes things just a little bit different, but that changes it up even more. And then it has my signature on it. All right, so I'm going to take light Misty Moonlight, just to really kind of get a little bit more contrast with the Secret Sea. And my bone folder. And I'm just adding a few splatters right in and around the greeting to add a little bit of texture. I'm also going to add in a little bit of Lost Lagoon. You can also use cloud cover. There's that. And if you want to add a little bit more, to the front of things, you can. It adds just a hint of dimension. There we go. I like that. And of course, she's always invited to the party. I say, here comes Wink of Stella. Again, I'm going to kind of hit that water line. So we'll just kind of, same things we just did, similar techniques, and then we'll give a good flick. And there you have a cool gift card pocket for somebody. I think it's a great guy card. Just a little bit different. All right. So that is card number 2. What do you think? Pretty easy. All right. So moving right along. I told you we had 3 in this same kind of style here. So that was 2. Let's look at number 3. So here's the 3rd card. This one's a little different in that I'm going to, instead of using one of the card bases from the kit, this time I'm going to build this one on a half sheet of Misty Moonlight. And I already have it scored. So it's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So here we go. Let's just start. Give this one a good fold. Okay, I have to ask you guys. I always use this end. For some reason, I just like this end. Do you use this end when you're putting a nice burnish in, or this end? Fat end, pointy end. I like the fat end. Okay. Same deal here. We're going to clip these apart and reassemble. So I have these pretty much done. Okay. And I'm going to fringe the edge or distress the edge with my fingernail. Remember I said once you have a gimmick that you like, just keep going with it. The other nice thing is to repeat something like this and then bring the cards in. They have a cohesive look. So you could do this and put them all together and give them as a little gift. Laura's like me. She uses the fat end. All right. Glad to know I'm not the only fat ender here. Now, don't forget, when I said you could give them as a gift, don't forget, like this video once I get it loaded. All right. Share it. Go vote at boiseriver.com for my photo. And you're going to be entered into a contest to get an extra. I've got a completely brand new stamp set, never used, for this Mountain Majesties class. And I also, or a class kit. And then I've also, all of the cards I make today are going to be, that's part of the prize. I told you it's worth $10 million. Anyhow, it's going to be fun. If you'll do that, not only are you going to be entered in to win a contest, I will enter anybody who enters is not a member of the Backstage Pass. I will bring you in and you can see what the Backstage Pass is all about. It's my VIP group where I stamp every Thursday. So earlier I asked, what do you guys like about the Backstage Pass? Is it classes every Thursday? Is it the photos of things? Tell me what you like. Is it the community? I don't know. Kayleen's back on. Awesome. Okay, there's that last piece. Just trying to go a little bit quicker here. Oh, I put it on in the wrong spot. This was all supposed to be higher. All right, hold on. Well, shoot, Queen. You can see I actually was supposed to put this up higher. Why didn't anybody tell me? See, I like to crash and burn. It just shows us that we're all human here. All right, peeling this off. It's going to be a wreck. I've just put a hole in my card. So how would I fix this in real life? I would use another card base because I just put a hole in it. But I want to do it right. Okay, so this is the one that's going to go in the prize package. This one I would keep for myself. Okay. I forgot the black piece. You know, I made these, usually I make these when I'm preparing class, like the Tuesday, Wednesday before. These were made weeks ago. This goes here. This is a piece of black. It is 1 1/4 inches tall, and it fits the width of my card. I actually made it a little longer and then cut it down because when you emboss something, it has a little shrink, it shrinks up a bit. So I used the mini corrugated 3D embossing folder. It is awesome. So Laura says she likes my amazing creations. I'm not looking for compliments. I just want to know what's helpful to you because then it's helpful to me to know what to do. So anyways, this embossing folder, I think it's great. It's great for a lot of looks, but it just kind of really fit the vibe for me. with this particular card. So this is going to go on with dimensionals. We're going to put a little dimension on this. Okay, just right across the back. And I can see it has more of my black linen thread. But you know what? I don't have any black linen thread ready just now. So you can do it with the linen thread. I tied it around. Oh, you know what? You know what we're going to use instead? We'll use, if I can find it, here it is. How about we use some navy? Yeah. Then hopefully I'll have enough for another project because I have one more project to do. Okay, so you're going to tie your linen thread around. And let me just kind of get a loose piece. Wrap the linen. Yeah, I sometimes do. Yes, I'm going to wrap it around here. But I wanted black, but I don't have black colored. And I don't have any of the, what is the pack that's got the, it's got black, it's got crumb cake, white, the Essentials Baker's Twine. I don't have that. I've used it all up. You could use that, so. But you know what? I actually am more of a fan of the linen thread than I am the Baker's Twine, just because I like the shape that, this holds a better shape to me. I just like the feel of it. Sometimes the Baker's Twine is just a little too, just kind of soggy. It's kind of limp. And I like things to have just a little bit more character. Okay, so that's how that's going to go. You're going to want to actually, I like the black. I really like it. It's kind of effective there. But this looks good. It's picking up the misty moonlight as well. Okay, so here is my, we're going to totally disguise this. You're not even going to know that I totally ruined it. But you know what? Sometimes we just have to work on the fly here and fix it. It's always fixable. That's the great thing about this type of paper crafting, is it's always fixable. I'm going to scooch it down just a little bit. Okay, put that one in. We'll put this one back on. This is the $6 million card. We can rebuild it because we just did. Do you guys remember that show? The $6 Million Man? Okay, there's that layer, and then we'll put this one on. Nice. Now it resembles the original. Cool. All right, we can rebuild it. I know this trio of the Natural Tones linen. So Jacqueline says that she's kind of feels the same way about linen thread. But yeah, I like this pack. It's, if you saw it, I'm almost out. We used this in the Heirloom Arrangements Kit class that I did in May. But yeah, navy, garden green, and Cajun craze. And it's in the last chance list. If you go in there, it's still available. It's gorgeous. And Laura says, and the Bionic Woman. Yes, I remember the Bionic Woman. All right, dimensionals on our tree piece. Okay, so we were talking about this the other day. The Bionic Woman had bionic hearing, but she always had to move her hair out so she could hear better. Does that make sense? She's got a bionic ear. Why does she need to move her hair? She would always do that. Put it over her ear. Okay, you can tell what kind of TV shows I watched as a kid. And even as a kid, thought that was stupid. You're going, what the heck are you talking about, lady? Hey, I'm talking to myself, kind of. All right, now this one's going to tuck right in there. And I like the way the dimensionals on this piece kind of help to, anchor this piece right in here that we're using, this black piece that's up. All right, so now I've got dimension coming up the card, or more dimensional layers. All right, so let's do a little bit of stamping. We're going to use the To a Wonderful Man. So let me put that on a block. Just going to take Happy Birthday off. After this class, my blocks need a big time bath. Okay, they're really dirty. Okay, so I'm going to stamp with Secret C. You could also use black. I think on my original I did use black, but you know what? I didn't bring it out. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp this. It fits perfect right here in this little nook. to a wonderful man. And we're going to stamp Happy Father's Day. Let's see if I can find the Happy Father's Day. Best dad ever. That greeting would work as well. I just got ink all over my hand. All right, come on. You're the greatest. Here's Happy Father's Day. You could put any greeting in here you want. You're going to need the small label. You're going to need the small label. And when you stamp it way up at the top. I'm going to need a contrasting color because I can't see what I'm doing for nothing. So I'm just going to open this card base. There we go. Because I don't have a contrasting color handy. But bring it right up to the top. And this is kind of what I call, you know how you have that little like Levi's label that sticks out of your pocket? This is going to kind of be that look. Only we're going to do it with Stampin'. And so this is going to go on with dimensionals. And it's going to tuck right in here and kind of be that Levi's, you know, that little tag, that little red tag that's tucked into your pocket. All right, so I'm going to do dimensionals just on the one end. Okay, and then I will glue the opposite end because it's going to layer up with these trees. And so that way it will sit nice and level. So go ahead and tuck. Did I go all the way to the end? You could go all the way to the end, or you could, my original has it in just a skosh. But just tuck that down to where you get a nice frame. Yeah, I like that. And I don't mind this color blue with it. So go blue or black. All right, Neko's back. She's been wandering around. Okay, two more things. We're going to go ahead and do some nice splattering, and then we will add some of the in color flat pearls as well to finish things off. So I'm just trying to get kind of in this area right here is where it's going to show up most. There's some Misty Moonlight and Lost Lagoon. There you have it. And of course, I said two things, but I lied. We're going to need some Stella. Just because on these dark colors, Wink of Stella it has a cool little fleck and it picks up light here and there. Okay, now look at these in color pearls. I love the Secret Sea. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do 3. I'm going to do a large. And I'm going to kind of come right in here, trying to kind of highlight the Happy Father's Day. This time I'm going to put the large with a small. And then I'll do the medium kind of up over here on this mountain. Okay? So they kind of work together and it kind of, all of my gems and my greeting and my main greeting, they all kind of fit together. So there is the outside. The inside of the card, look at that. Maybe we might have to put this on this page. No, what I'm going to do, I will do something to fix that inside. But let's put this on this side here. And it's going to be simple, simple. We're just going to trim it to fit. And then we'll do a tag and some more gems. So this is the large tag. So we're going to use the large tag. I'm going to use Secret Sea again because it's just a beautiful color. We're going to stamp right in the center. This is a good greeting, and I like the font. Okay, you mean the world to me. And let's see, we're going to do a lot of splattering. So let me get my scrap paper in here. I'll bring these 2 pieces in. she's in the other room. Can you hear her barking in the other room? She doesn't even know what she's doing. She's learning how to be a dog. Because she's just a puppy still. She's 12 weeks old. All right, so there's a lot of Lost Lagoon there. And I'm kind of keeping it down in this lower corner because that's where I'm going to put the greeting. I'm just doing the greeting in a slightly less, just making it just a little bit different. Rather than up at the top, Just mixing it up. And I can see on my original, I want you to see if you can see the difference. So I have white willow and basic white. And then here is the tag from the kit. I much prefer the white willow to the basic white, but I was out of white willow. So anyhow, just, you know, food for thought. I really like the white willow with our kits, especially Paper Pumpkin and the kits collection. All right, so let's put this on. Here's my goof that we see. Now we need to make sure this is fitting. And so as I shut my card, it's hanging out just a hair on that side. And how is it top bottom? Top bottom, it's okay. So I think I'm gonna do just a little slice off one edge so that it'll fit in there and not hang over. So, okay, so just a hairline. We'll cut that off. And I like to use this older trimmer that we had a while back for those little hairline cuts. I can do a hairline cut much better on that than I can on my larger paper trimmer. Okay, a little bit of glue there. We'll add this one. Oops, let's get I want this splattering down in the corner because that's kind of where I'm highlighting my greeting. Okay, haven't quite figured out how I'm gonna fix that later on. But if you were here earlier, you saw me crash and burn and start things off wrong. But we fixed it. The front looks great. We just have to add something on the inside. And now I'll add my greeting down here in the bottom. So a little less conventional, putting it in a new spot. And we'll use 2 more gems. This is a fabulous pack. And so I'm going to do a large and a small. Just 2. I figured this is the 3rd element. All right, so we'll close that one so that you can see this one that didn't get goofed and that has the better color combination. Jacqueline says, you think I should keep Neko? Oh my goodness. I've gone from 12 dogs down to 4 right now. And so if we find her a home, then I have my 3 original doggies, which is where I need to be. But yeah, she is a cute little girl. She's really cute. And she's been playing with the older dogs. All right, so that was our 3rd that is kind of from this. Let me just bring back the other so you can take a look. So there were 3 that had this kind of paper piecing look. And so, like I say, once you have a gimmick, go ahead and use it. And it creates a nice cohesive look for, you know, giving as a gift. So we have the fold back kit only. We have the paper piecing, adding it onto a Misty Moonlight base. And then we have the pocket card. All right. So those are our first 3. Now we're going to switch gears and go for a completely different look. All right. My favorite look. Okay. This, you know, I was making these different cards and this one turned out to be my absolute favorite. So you are going to need a Secret Sea card base. You could also use Pecan Pie. You could use Cloud Cover. You could use Azure Afternoon even, or, you know, Petal Pink. But I like this one. All right, and you're going to score it at 4 1/4. So we'll give this a quick, oh my gosh, I can't even score right. Oh, I am batting 1,000 today. So my score line's in the wrong place. I don't know how I did that. It's not even close. All right, so let's look at 4 1/4. It's 1/4 of an inch off. Okay. Just going to look a little funny on the inside. Okay, look at that. Okay. Do as I say, not as I did. You know, nothing like making mistakes. But I think that's part of the fun of paper crafting is figure out, oh, how am I gonna clean this up? Okay, you're also going to need a card base. And so you can see I've already done a little bit of work on this card ahead of time. And that is, I have used the Party Alphabet dies here. These are the most fabulous letter dies that we've had in a long time. I've been waiting for some bigger ones to do some more, you know, banners and things. So you're going to need D and A to cut out Dad, but you could also do Son, You could do a monogram, like I could do NMP for Newell, for his initials. You know, you could do Guy, G-U-I, that's kind of weird. But anyhow, whatever you want to do, I'm doing 3 letters. And let me just show you, I have, this is a stamp case, and then I have 4 magnetic sheets here that hold this entire set of dies, all right? So you have the alphabet plus a few extra goodies in here for some other languages. But let's use the D and the A, and you can see that from the back of the card base here, I've cut D, A, and then I cut D one more time. And I kept it in line because that's important to my design, okay? So how many of you guys have purchased these, and what kinds of things are you making? And do you love them? Totally worth the investment. All right, so there's my card base. We're going to cut this card base in half. Okay, so just kind of right to the edge of that score line, I'm going to take this off. And so that's going to be my card front, okay? And I'm going to do one more cut while I'm here. I'm going to turn this around, and I am going to do 1/8 of an inch off this side. So this is going to be an added little bit of decor to pull the outside into the inside of the card. Now keep this because you can use this for other projects, which I did. So save that. You never know when you're going to need it. All right, let's see. What else do we need for this card? So here's my D-A. I've also cut the hugs that you saw earlier. So this is the Hugs Abloom, and I have it mounted already on a piece of thick basic white. And you could do another layer if you want to make it even taller. So these are the elements you're going to need. Let's put this together. You're also going to need a white inside. So let's see how this is not in your budget, Jolinda. Oh, so here's the good thing. The D. Yes, I love the D. Oh, there she goes again. So here, this piece is going to go on the inside. I'm just checking to see if I need to trim it. It's looking pretty good. But I think I'm going to do a quick little trim on one end. So yes, it is an investment. The nice thing is, as you continue throughout the year to make purchases and you earn your rewards with a $20 purchase here in the United States, you get 10% back. So each time you could kind of stockpile and then collect enough rewards to get it for free. Haha. All right, there's that. That is ready. So I think I'm going to go ahead and glue this in now. We'll glue right over my mistake. Cannot believe I put the score line in the wrong place. It's a little funny. Okay. All right, that's looking good. That's basing that in. Then we will base this one in as well. Now, let me bring in the original here. I love this look, but what's important about this, and you can play with it, and it's exactly what I did, is kind of having the colors get lighter. And I thought, well, that's okay. And then when I did this, and I flipped that around and went like this, I knew I had something special. And I just really, really like this card. I like the graphic look of it, and I like how clean and simple it is. So let's assemble this. And then the inside of the card is equally as striking, but look at that. Just see how this one little added bit of paper on the bottom just adds that nice, it just brings it right to the inside. Okay, so these are going to go on with dimensionals. The beauty of this, look at this. Your big dimensionals fit these perfectly. So a lot of times when you have letters, you're cutting out the letter multiple times and stacking it, right? This is kind of nice. You don't have to stack. Don't have to stack it all. But you know what? You do have to kind of put it the right direction so it doesn't show. Okay, so just kind of fill this up. You could use minis too if you wanted. That would be great. But I kind of like the bigger ones just because they get the action done a little bit quicker. Okay, so those are set and ready to go. let me glue this piece on to my card front. Okay, I'm just using a light swoosh of our green cap glue, which that is my favorite. That's my favorite way of gluing things. I know some people I know Julie Beltramo, she likes the seal, but I just like this because I'm able to kind of wiggle around. All right, I'm going to kind of lay these down where they're going to go a little bit higher here, but I'm just trying to give myself, and they do overlap a little bit, I'm just trying to give myself a little bit of a kind of, I'm looking at where I'm going to place the "You're the Greatest" image, and it's going to kind of come right down in here. So I'm kind of looking, and I kind of can see it's going to kind of come right into where that petal pink and pecan pie come together. So I'm using Secret Sea. You could use the Misty Moonlight. This fleck of whatever, I think it's, this has to go. You're not invited to the party. Okay, here we go. "You're the Greatest." Going to ink that up, and it's going to kind of come right in here. And I'm going to stamp this as straight as I can and hope for the best. Don't over impress because you don't want it to like blur out. But I'm kind of holding there just a second to really let the ink get down into the fibers of that paper. I think that looks great. And now I can go ahead and add my dad, okay? And so I'm going to start with the D and the A. I'm sorry, the D and the D. Then I will, and I'm going to kind of put these to each end, kind of even them up. Okay, I'm a little higher than I was on my first card, but that's okay. You get the idea. That little puppy has never had so much freedom. She's just having a good time. I can hear her kind of rolling around with something in the other room. It's probably one of Newell's flip-flops. That's what she was chewing on yesterday. Hey, we have a stamp class to tend to. Okay, so there's my DA. And now we'll put, my DD. Let's put the A in the middle there. And so this, I'm just going to tuck one side under, and one side is going to go over. Look how fun that is. Something's right there. Hanging on piece. All right, so there's the DA. And then the hugs, I'm going to go ahead and color my hugs again, just like we did on the first one that we did on the pocket card. I really like how the Wink of Stella turns this Secret Sea into just, it just makes it really, really pretty. It just gives it a nice, rich, fancy look. Okay, let that dry for a second. Let's get our flat pearls out because we're going to add those to this card. Here they are. And let's do a couple of them down here. I'm just going to do two. I was kind of looking around and, wanting to put a third on. I'm like, nope, it doesn't fit anywhere. So one's going to go like right about there. That's a medium. And here comes a small. And I'm going to kind of put that right on where this darker color meets the lighter blue. Hello, Terry. Oh, fun to see you here. Terry is here. The fun can start. Okay, little bit of glue on this Hugs. Okay. Oh, she's back. And now bring this one in so I can see what I'm doing. I just have the H going kind of right up. Let's see. Yeah, just kind of just like that. So when I was little, my dad would come in when I'd go to bed, and he'd come in and he'd say, I need my hug tight. And even today, where's my hug tight? He says, so hugs. All right, on the inside, I'm going to simply just add this stripe. I just love how this stripe, and make sure or at least I made sure. I put it this direction so that it matched with the paper. So, I mean, you could go this way, but I kind of liked the continuity of it flipped this direction. Okay. All right. Just a simple addition of a little bit of paper. Let's see, I have it way down towards the bottom. Stretching across. And then I'm going to stamp I love you. And I'm going to stamp with Secret C. And then we'll do just a little bit of splattering. Terry, you are never late. It doesn't matter when you arrive. The party begins now that you're here. All right, there's the I love you. Let me move that out of the way. Let's do a little bit of more splattering. And I'm going to stick to my Lost Lagoon and Misty Moonlight. There's a little Lost Lagoon. You could use cloud cover. I made these before I had cloud cover, so I'm just trying to stay with what I originally did. And then if you want to do just a little bit, I think I splattered the front with just Wink of Stella. I didn't do any color on this one. I was keeping it clean. But I did do some nice, because it just picks up on all these colors and looks wonderful. And then I'm going to kind of do a little bit more wink, but kind of shooting it on where the greeting is, just kind of to draw your eye to that. So there's the front and there's the inside. My favorite card. I love it. And look at that. You wouldn't even know I have a score line in the wrong place. So there is the dad card. And let's see. All right. We're going to totally switch gears now and move into more of a technique here. And so I'm going to bring in some scratch paper, and I'm going to bring in, and you can use any embossing folder you want to use. This one is called Pressed Flowers. And so I'm going to open up my Pressed Flowers embossing folder, and I am going to do an ink smooshing or smashing technique. And sometimes this technique is done on your glass mat, or you can do it on a big block or a window sheet, or even like a page protector. But I'm going to do it on an embossing folder to kind of get a different look. And what it's going to do is it's going to give me a little bit more texture, and it's just going to look, it's going to give me some highlights, some lowlights, and a little bit of everything. So this is watercolor paper. I'm just going to quickly cut it in half. So this is our Fluid 100. And I've cut it in half because I want to do a couple colors. I'll just do one color today, but that way you can do different colors. So I'm going to use Mossy Meadow here. And you can see I've already kind of got some stuff going. So I'm just going to kind of smoosh in some Mossy Meadow all over. And then I'm going to fill those negative spots with Misty Moonlight. Okay, so start with your lighter color and then move to your darker color, and that will keep from your ink pads getting too contaminated from another color. So I've just blended those all together. Now I have a Stampin' Spritzer here, and I'm going to spritz this with water. Just give it enough. I'm also going to spritz my paper, and I'll just kind of move this around with my fingers so that the page is covered. Okay. Now, there's so many different variations you could do on this technique. So I'm doing wet to wet. You could do a dry piece of cardstock, your Fluid 100. I've done it with thick and with regular, and I really like it with the watercolor best. It's more interesting, has more character. So this piece here, you could do wet to wet, or you could do a dry piece of paper to the wet, or you could do a wet piece of paper to a dry. It just really depends on what you want to do. Excuse me. And if there's sections where you're like, well, I want a little bit more character there, just go back in and re-smash it and get some more ink. But what I love is we've got a little bit of design in there. You see a little bit of those pressed flowers. But it just kind of, as I die cut leaves and things from this, it looks like veining, all right? So I couldn't really do this on my own, if you know what I mean. The next thing you could do with this is go ahead and go to the other side and experiment with this. So this was the debossed, this is the embossed. Okay, so this part is sticking up. So just play around with the technique and have some fun adding layers to your little piece here, because you're going to be die cutting. Oh, see, now that's cool. I think this is a lot of fun. And so rather than just doing a watercolor wash, it's allowing us to have some cool looks. So try the ink smashing technique on your embossing folders. Now, I've done regular folders and 3D. I prefer the regular because the 3D is just too much of a difference. So have some fun with this technique and make some papers that are your own little custom pieces that you can cut out different things. So you can see I've cut out some leaves from this one. This one, I didn't do as much. This is Lost Lagoon and Misty Moonlight. Here is Mossy Meadow and Lost Lagoon, okay, for a different look. Here's another, this combination here. And then later on, I'll show you some pecan pie with petal pink. So I've done that combination as well. So I've done different combinations that kind of fit the look of this paper pumpkin kit. So for my next card, let's see what I can do wrong. So I had 2 cards in a row that I went, and I struck out. Let's see if we can do this one the right way. Okay, so this one is a half sheet of thick basic white. And we're going to fold it in half and just give this a good score, good burnish on that score line. This is going to be a top fold landscape card. And I'm going to use pieces from the kit. I'm going to use one of these. Okay. And let's see, more pieces, lots more pieces. We're going to use one of these. And let's see. I don't think I used that one. Not sure why I pulled it out. This one's going to come into play. And we're going to use this one as well. And I'm using a label. So this is the label die from the Hugs Abloom. All right. I mentioned those dies earlier. And we've got that. I also have Hugs die cut again from Hugs Abloom. And it's layered with another layer of thick basic white. Let me go back to Antoinette says, "Hi, Elizabeth, working from home. So taking the peek. She will watch the replay to make cards. Looking forward to seeing what you make." Awesome. Great, Antoinette. I'm glad you popped on to say hello. It's good to see you here, even if it's just for a second or two. All right. So the Hugs Abloom dies. So this I've actually cut out from the flowered foils. All right. And this is Cloud Cover. It's a new product that I really, really love. And from the pieces that I just shared with you, I've cut my own leaves here, all right? So the great thing about this is, you could actually, pounce them back on, and if you want more color or you want to paint them, you can do all kinds of things with them. So there are those. And let's do a little bit of creating here to make this card right here. All right, so this is the one we're looking at. So again, we're bringing in those flat pearls. Now this one is opening this direction, but I had a card base already the other direction. So I'm like, yeah, we're going to use it up. So I'm all about using up what's kind of in my stash and nearby. The first thing I want to do is, as I was laying these out, you could kind of see that this piece I had hanging off the edge. So it just made sense to me to not waste it and have it just all in there. I needed to cut some of it off, but I'm going to move it to the inside of the card. So that little bit that we're going to cut off will move to the inside. And I'm thinking that it's 3/4 of an inch that we're going to cut off. And I am right. All right. So 3/4 of an inch. You're going to cut 3/4 of an inch off. And I've got this little hanging piece from when I popped it out. Oh, guess who's back? Neko's back. She's saying, no one will play with me. The big dogs are all sleeping. So now that's going to fit the front of this lots better. Okay, so that's going to go there. And this one's going to come here right to the edge. Okay, that leaves us a little bit of this gap. Actually, it looks like what I did do is overlap these just a little bit, and it's okay. And the thing I like about the overlapping is it gives us a new color blue, right? And so this piece goes here. Ah, you know what? There is this piece in here. I see it now. This one goes in here. So we're just layering these in. And this last one is going to go right there. So it just kind of gives us another look at what they've created. It's just kind of, it's, you know, taking the cue right from Stampin' Up. All right, so let's start to put these down. I am going to use seal on these because I like the seal better with the vellum, but I'm going to put it in an area where I know it's not going to show. And so I know it's not going to show down here on this side. And I'm going to eke this one in a little bit. Eke, isn't that a good measurement? You're going to measure it, you're going to move it in and eke. We'll do the same thing on this one. But look, you know, even though I put that seal there, you can barely see it because of the color. But even still, let's just be sure that our mechanics don't show. And then this one's going to overlap as well. So it gives us a little bit of a new color blue in here. Okay. And we'll put this one on. So these are all going on. They are not dimensional. This is flat. So this one's going to go right to the edge to fill that all in. And I like the little peak of white showing. We'll add our Lost Lagoon layer here. I'm going to take this one to the edge. And then this one here will cover all of that up. So we're covering our mechanics. So it's fun. And there are a lot of these pieces, if you don't end up using them, you know, to layer up on all the cards, there are a lot of these pieces left that you'll be able to, let me move this one over just a little bit, right to the edge. There we go, that's better. Cleaner look. But that's kind of a cool, fun look. Now to this, I'm going to add the Hugs Abloom label here. But first, let's stamp it with, I originally stamped it with Lost Lagoon, but I don't have Lost Lagoon out. So we're going to stamp with Misty Moonlight. Can't believe I didn't bring Lost Lagoon. That was kind of dumb. And I'm going to stamp it with the I Love You. So this is an I Love You Hugs card. Okay. And I'm going to stamp it in this upper corner here. And just press it so that you get a nice clean image rather than over pressing and getting it kind of blurring out. And let's give this a good splattering of color. So I am going to splatter Lost Lagoon for sure. And we'll splatter with a little bit of Misty Moonlight. And add dimensionals to the back side here. Okay. So this card actually comes together pretty quick thanks to the cool pieces. Let's Stampin' Up. Whoops, just lost my paper. My scratch. And this is going to go, let's bring this one in so we can kind of work off this one. This one's going to go down towards the bottom here. And I'm looking at this edge here to be nice and parallel with that one. And then I'm going to take my leaves. Look how much different my leaves are this time. But same technique. I think it looks great. I am going to put mini dimensionals on the back, if I can find what I did with them. There they are. Okay, so I'm going to put minis on the back of these leaves. And this will just make these lay nice and flat, but they'll have some dimension. It may seem a little overkill, but it's kind of necessary in my eye. But as I always say, you do you, and it can be how you like them. All right, hold on, let's see. Jolinda says, this second set of cards are dreamy, love them. Wonder how many folks already have large alphabet dies. Yes, I agree. I agree. Just times have changed. Okay, so this one is going to just kind of tuck a little bit like that. And then this one here, I'm going to put a dimensional on the tip of just one of these leaves. That one for sure, as I'm looking at how it's going to kind of lay out. We'll start with that. Let's put the hugs on. Okay. I can hear that little puppy playing, but I have no idea what she's doing. I may finish my class and find a destroyed bedroom because she's in my room right now. Okay, so this is just going to kind of add to our label there. Let it cantilever over the edges. And then this leaf here, I'm going to make it look as if it's coming out from the word hugs, from the H. And I have this thing, I think it's the florist in me, that a leaf needs to originate somewhere. It can't just be floating. It has to be tucked under as if it were in a vase or something. So it's actually originating from under the word hugs. So we're just going to do that. And I need one dimensional right there. So this is what I do when I need to put one inside, is I peel the top off and then I pick it up. This is why I always have one of these in my hand. And I could use this one, but I just grab this one all the time because I don't have to take the lid off, I guess. Lazy. And I'm just going to set that right underneath, and there you go. So now that is nice and level. All right, let's add some of these cool flat color pearls. Love them. And looks like I did medium, small, and small. I guess I like those smaller ones. So I did one kind of right in here. Oh, neck goes back. I'm going to do a large and a medium just because I'm going to use up some of those larges. And we will add a little fleck to this of Winka Stella. And there's our front, the front of our card. And now let's work the inside. And so the inside, we're going to need one of the large labels. Oh, I know. I know she's not hungry because she just ate a huge breakfast. Let's stamp this one. So this one, I actually did some blending on the image itself. So, might have to throw her outside. So I'm going to start with a little bit of Mossy Meadow. I'm sorry, Mossy Meadow. This is Misty Moonlight. So here's Misty Moonlight. Okay, inking it all up in Misty Moonlight. And now I'm going to just gently stamp off, just barely. Just barely, barely, barely. So see, I didn't stamp off very much, but just enough to kind of take that Misty Moonlight down to a lighter version. And I'm just going to kind of gently, just adding a few touches of Secret Sea here and there. We'll stamp this in the center. And it may be a very subtle difference, but I kind of like adding 2 bits of ink to my color here. And so now you probably don't see it in the camera, but yeah, some of these letters are lighter and then I get the darker. And it just gives us a little bit more dimension. You really see it in this one because I used Lost Lagoon. But as I stupidly didn't bring Lost Lagoon out, I kind of blew it. All right, I am going to put Seal down the middle of this because it's not showing too bad. Now watch it show like crazy. I think I might have just done some green cap glue, but there's that piece that we cut off from the front. And then here is our inside piece. Let's add some dimensionals to that. And we'll add this in. Okay. There's that. Let's add a little splattering with our same colors. I promise we will switch up the splatter colors. There's that. We'll add a little bit of blue as well. And again, I'm kind of aiming it down here where my greeting is. And Stella, here she comes to make everything sparkle and shine. Get some of these out of the way here. And last, let's do a few more of these in color gems. So I have 3 on the inside here. You know, sometimes, don't put too many on, but I'm like, hey, I end up having so many gems left over. I say use them or lose them. Use it up. They're meant to be used. Okay, so I've got one here, and I'm just kind of copying my muse here, and then this one's up here. So I've done 3. So one kind of hiding. There's the large, medium, and small. So there you have it. Okay, slightly different. Just different. This is a top fold. This is a side fold. And, fun times. So there is that look using the ink smashing technique. All right, we're moving along. We have time for, okay, I'm going to show you the projects, and then we're going to turn some of these into, she's playing with the doorstop, if you can hear her. She's having a good time. I'm going to show you a couple projects, and we're going to finish with one. This next project I'm going to show you is going to be, I have all the pieces already here, but I'm actually going to turn this into a bonus video. So come back for a bonus video. Come back to my page, and I'll have a link right to my YouTube channel for that. Okay, this is the project that you were going to see the video for. This is a fancy fold with lots of real estate where you can stamp, die cut, show off your stamping skills, and you can have enough space to write a nice message. This card actually has, instead of one score line, I've double scored it to give us just a little bit of a binding so that I have more space so that it lays flat and doesn't need a belly band. So here is the card front of one of the card bases. More ink smashing. So the rainbow has been ink smashed. That's the pecan pie and the petal pink. Then I've got more smashing here on my leaves. Then when you open the card, you can see that it's based on a piece of petal pink. Okay. Here is the card back. And then it opens and hinges to another card base here. So like I say, lots of room to write a nice message. I think this would be a great graduation card, a wedding card. There's all kinds of things, a really close friend, an aunt or whomever. But it has a couple pockets if you want to add some gift cards, or Jolinda knows she reminds me of the stick of gum. That's what my grandparents always put in a card, in a birthday card. So I will go over the measurements and all of the details for this in a bonus video. It will be great. Don't forget to come back and see it. But what I want to point out right now is this card features the Sunshine Vibes dies. So here are the dies for this rainbow. I just love this. Just so you guys know that in July, my Technique Time class is going to feature the Boho Vibes Sweet Collection. And this is the Sunshine Vibes bundle. So you'll need this. I'll provide the rest. And we're going to make some really fun, summery, boho vibey type of cards. But I just love this. I love the way it looked with this particular card base. So it's taking, this Mountain Majesties, which really has a masculine feel, and I've completely taken it over the top and made it very feminine. So that's one card that will be a bonus. So I'll share all of the measurements and everything for that. Another bonus card that I'm going to do is going to be kind of a sister card to the one you just saw. And so this one here, same card base. Whoops, there's my pieces. And I'll go through all the steps of this. But this one, you guys, I am using, for the next 3 projects I'm going to show you, the Scenic Adventure Bundle, specifically the dies. This set, oh my goodness, it has, I've used it a little bit, not a ton, but enough to know that it's fantastic. I'm curious to know, oh, she is so loud, you guys, I'm sorry. Curious to know what you guys think about it, and if you would like to see this Scenic Adventure as a stamp class, whether it's a class with a kit, or if it's, on one of our other Thursdays for stamping. So let me know what you think about this. I'm really excited about it. So this card here, again, a little bit more feminine, but I'm starting to bring out those Scenic Adventure details. Another bonus video for you guys. And let's see, I'm going to share with you one more bonus video, and then I'm going to finish with a project here. Oh no, you guys, I've got 2 more. All right. Well, we're going to do 1. So there's going to be 4 bonus videos. That's insane. Let me show you another bonus video. This will probably be the biggest bonus video. This is going to be a mini album, and it's 3 of the envelopes and 3 of the card bases. So I definitely knew this was going to be a bonus video. So here is half of one of the card bases for my cover. Then one of the envelopes is the cover. There's one envelope. And so it's just a fun little mini album here featuring the kit and then the Scenic Adventure dies. A little flip-flap action. Okay. This right here is the second card. Just if you're kind of wondering how this all comes together, there's card number 2. Okay. Envelope number 3. Okay. Here is the last card, card number 3. Oh, that was envelope number 2. Here comes envelope number 3. And then there is the back cover. That's the back half of that card base. So I will show how to put this together. It actually may look complicated, but it is so easy. It is so easy. It will blow your mind. 3 cards, 3 card bases, or 3 cards, 3 envelopes. Now, let's take a look at 2 more projects here. This first project that I'm going to share with you, we're going to do this project here. And this is a project I cased myself from the Heirloom Arrangements mini camp that was a couple weeks ago. I just love this project. And let me show you why I love this project. It is super easy. You are going to need 1 card base, and we're going to just score it in a few more places. You're going to need an additional piece of paper. This piece of paper is 5 by 4. Now, let's just swipe this out of the way for a second. So here is your card base, okay? It's 8.5 by 5.5. So you're using a card base from the kit. You're going to create score lines at 1/2 inch, 4 inches, 4.5, and 8. Then this extra piece, this 5 by 4, it gets scored the same on 3 sides, okay? So 3/8, 3/4. And then if you want to turn it around, that's 3/8, 3/4. But if you're just sliding across, it's 4 1/4, 4 5/8. And then same thing on the bottom. So I'm just going to leave these there for just a second. If you guys want to take a snapshot or a screenshot, let me move it down. There you go. Screenshot. There's your pattern for making our goodie card box. Okay. I actually shared the Heirloom Arrangements one on my blog and my Instagram and Facebook just the other day. But let's take a look at this one. So I've already scored like the pattern shows at 1/2, 4, 4.5, and 8. And we are going to mountain fold on all of them, but completely ignore the score that came originally. So just ignore that one. So we're going to fold mountain and burnish. Okay. And then we'll fold a mountain fold again, being sure to ignore that middle one. Just don't even look at it. Just ignore it completely. Mountain fold again. What I really enjoy about this pattern is it's a card base. And many of the card bases from the Kits collections and Paper Pumpkin are They are the 8.5 by 5.5. We don't get a lot of landscape ones, right? Anyhow, so this is just an easy pattern you can do with a lot of them, or even your own card base. So there's that. Then this piece here, let's do some work on this piece. So you'll get to see me create this from start to finish on this base and see how easy it is. So we're going to score along the long edge. I call that sole, S-O-L-E, score on long edge. We're going to make 4 score lines here, and I'm going to keep this handy so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to score it at 3/8. Okay. So I could do this on the other side, but there's 3/8, and then we will score it at 3/4. Okay. And I'm going to slide it across. We're going to score it at 4 1/4. And 4 5/8. Okay. Basically, these sections are both 3/8. Okay. We're going to rotate and do the same thing. I'm going to use this side over here because it's just a little easier. So I'm going to score it at 3/8. And we'll score one more time at 3/4. Okay. And you can see we have some trimming to do. So let's start by removing the corners. So right on that score line, just snip out the corner. I will say, if you are using two-tone cardstock, you need to be very careful about so if you cut like that on cardstock, it doesn't matter. And say it doesn't all the way cut through, and you kind of have to pull. If you do that with your two-tone cardstock, it's going to leave a white fuzzy. So, and I learned that the hard way. So you're going to want to not clip to you're going to want to just kind of use your scissor to get in there and finish that cut edge, or you're going to get that funny little white thing hanging out. Okay, so the corners are removed. Now I am going to angle this one off. And I like to flip this over because it's easier to cut. Oh, guess who's back? She just so needs attention. So I've cut some angles on that one, and I'm going to cut some angles on this one too. Okay, now I wish I had some tear and tape with me. I usually do, but I don't have any right now because the thing, if you use tear and tape, it's kind of a nice instant stick. But you're going to put adhesive or tear and tape on these outside edges, but this one I definitely glue, and you'll see why in just a minute. Okay, so that is ready. We need to add our engagement notch. And so I like this old punch here, and I'm just eyeballing center. Okay, on my original here, I used a 2-inch circle punch, so it's just kind of a wider. We need to do a little stamping on this, so let me share with you. Here's the project. Now, if you're wondering where this layer came from, it actually came from the mini album. So, if you want to, you're going to take a second card and cut that frame right out. It's the same frame that I used, or the same rectangle die that I used on the pocket card earlier. But when this opens, there is a little bit of decor on the inside. Okay, so let's do a little stamping. I stamped the birds here. So we're going to stamp the birds in pecan pie. Need my cleaning pad. And here's pecan pie spot. This is from another month. I don't remember which one, but that's how I get all my colored spots like this. It's through paper pumpkin. And we're just going to stamp this just over here on this side, just like so. And we need, I actually used some of the, for this tag that comes across, I used an envelope. Or you could even use like this side of your paper. So I think I'm going to use this. So envelope or this paper here. We're going to just cut a strip. So let me see, how wide is this strip? It's probably a 1/2 inch, but let's get a for sure on this. It is 3/8 of an inch. So let's cut a 3/8 inch strip. That's why I said save these. You just never know when you're going to use them. And I've done the same thing with some of the card envelopes. I just kind of hold on to them because I've die cut leaves and all kinds of things. So there's a 3/8 inch strip. And I'm going to stamp You're the Greatest. I like that image. I think it's cool. You're the Greatest. And you could stamp in Misty Moonlight. You can stamp in Secret Sea. I'm going to go to the Secret Sea just because I really like this color. Okay. And I'm going to stamp it on this end over here. Just trying to get it the center the best that I can. Looking good. And on one end, I'm going to add a little flag. You can cut that with your snips, or if you're like me and have this old punch from a long time ago, I use this to do little flag ends. On small little pieces like this, I use this punch. I keep it handy. It's right in my little cart next to me, along with that same. So both of these punches just ride on my cart. I have a cart right to the side of me. And I keep some of the things that I reach for all the time. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to kind of fold this back. You could use your trimmer. But anyways, just kind of give it a fold back. Okay. And then we're going to cut it to be about 3/8 of an inch. Okay. And that's going to fold over that edge. So that's all that is. Okay. I need a little bit of that blue. I think I'm going to use the Cajun Craze because I'm running out of blue. I'm going to use some Cajun because I don't know if there's enough blue there. So this one's going to be a slightly different color. That's okay. But we need just a little bow. I could actually use just regular linen thread too. That would look great. Okay, so we're going to just small little bow here. Okay, getting that ready. And then from the Scenic Adventure dies, let me share with you. These dies really are super cool. I just have to figure what I did with them. They're coming. Okay, so there is a really cool die in here. And I'm going to find the piece. Hold on, here it is. Okay, so from Petal Pink, I've just got a little scrap of Petal Pink. And this die right here, okay, this is what it looks like. And so you can just kind of cut it out. You can stamp it a bunch of times, or not stamp it, but die cut it a bunch more times to create a border, which I've done. You'll see in my bonus videos. So there's that little piece, and that's just going to kind of accent right in there. Love that piece. Then to me, the star of these dies is this tree right here. You're going to need 2, and I've cut 2 already from Secret Sea. That's going to be for the front. So we'll get to that in just a second. But the inside has some Petal Pink. Let's just finish the inside because this needs to be done before we can put the box together because it's kind of hard to stamp once it's together. Ask me how I know. I know because it was an afterthought on my original, and so I had to stick a paper pumpkin block in there so that I could do, kind of get the stamping, had a flat edge. Okay, I'm doing just a little, just a little swipe of seal so that I can add my linen thread right there like that. This is going to go on with dimensionals. The nice thing is dimensionals on the inside is sometimes can kind of cause extra bulk, but we have bulk built in because we have some nice big border action going there. So I'm going to put some dimensionals on here. Okay. Hey, Vita. Good to see you here. How are things for you? How is Arizona? Okay, I actually need to kind of form the box because this is going to go over the edge. Okay, so just kind of like that. I think I could have done it a little bit lower, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be exactly the same every time. And then we'll add a little glue to our flowers here. And this is going to tuck behind the greeting. And I think even behind the, kind of lost my birds. That's okay. You get the idea. Okay, so just a nice, fun little inside detail action going there. Okay, so let's take our card base here and we're going to add this to the inside. This is really the hardest part of this project. I mean, the project isn't hard by any means, but this is the most technical. So let's just actually get these folded on all the sides, get them burnished so that the box, you'll want to, whenever you're doing a box, make sure that everything is burnished so you just have some nice crisp edges, and that's what's going to help you form nice 90-degree corners and things, if that makes sense. I think that makes sense. Okay, that's my little greeting. We will glue that down at the very end once we get this put inside. Okay, so I am going to add glue or tear and tape. I wish I had tear and tape because it's a nice quick, it sets up quickly. Just don't do too much glue because one, it will take longer to set up, and two, it comes oozing out. So I'm going to take this where I clipped. It's going to go right at the bottom, and then this edge is going to go at that we've got 1, 2, 3. It's that third score line. Again, ignore the middle one. You could actually put a piece over this middle if you wanted to. I've done that on some of these projects. So that's going to form that side. Now we're going to do similar, but not quite the same. Let's go ahead and put the glue on. Again, not too heavy. It will help it set faster, one, and it won't come oozing out. Now this one is going to go right along this score line. So this one's a little trickier, but you know what? We are all pros. We can tell it who's boss. So you're just going to set it just inside that score line. Okay. Going to reach in there. Press that in with your bone folder. So I'm really kind of burnishing that right now. We'll get this one too. And now while we're here, let's glue this piece down. Just going to shoot a little glue on there. We'll glue that. Cute, don't you think? And now the reason I don't you could put tear and tape, but the reason I do this one last, you're just going to kind of form it like you would putting, a box together. But you kind of want to push back, and it's a little tricky because you don't want to smear glue all over everything. But just put a little glue there. And then kind of tuck it in. And then make sure things are square. And then reach in with your bone folder and make sure you're above that piece and just burnish it on. And while it's still, you have still a minute or two, go ahead and make sure that it's still square. And that's all you do for the inside, keeping it easy. And then look, these little packs from Target, they fit in there, super fun. But you could almost put that in. You could put, a $20 bill in there. You could put some gift cards. You could really load this pocket. It's quite roomy. All right, so there's that. Whoops, hello, glue down and stick. So that's the inside. Now let's take a look at the outside. And so the outside isn't too hard. Let's take more of this. Ooh, I don't know if I have enough. I think I'm going to have to use, regular linen thread on this one. Now, I mentioned earlier that I have a contest going on, that this and my cards today are the prize. We said it was worth $1 million. But anyway, to enter that contest, all you have to do is like this video, share it with your friends, and go and vote on my picture at riverboise.com. It really is a good radio station, you guys. And I will enter you into the contest. Entry into... Oh, nice. I just dropped all my tools in the kitchen sink. I told you I'm a wreck, folks. Hope I don't need any of those. Okay, so we're just going to tie this shut. But, so the contest, getting back to the contest, everybody that enters will be given access to my VIP group, which is where I stamp every week. The winner is going to get the stamp set, which is the stamp set for the Mountain Majesties Paper Pumpkin Kit. Has some great greetings in there, and then these 2 bird stamps. And then you're also going to get the cards I made today. So you're going to want to enter that contest. Fun times. Okay, so this one, you can see I cut it from another card base, and it's one of the card bases that I'm going to use in my little mini album. I've cut some frames out of that. So let's put this on with dimensionals. But before we do, we're going to stamp it. We're going to stamp it with pecan pie. Okay. And I'm going to kind of hold my trees up. We're going to trim our trees. So we're going to have 2 trees that are going to come in here. And while we're here, let's just go ahead. I'm going to cut one of these trees apart and make this be a single. And so I'm just kind of making my own little, just kind of taking a cue from them on the shape of this. But I'm just, you can see how I'm easily just snipping this apart so that I have a 3rd tree. And it's going to kind of come right in here. I'm going to shape this just a little better. Okay, a little more natural looking. This one here, you think, oh, well, that's trash. I'm going to save this one because I actually was tucking in on some other things on my mini album. So to me, this is gold. It's already cut. I can use that. So there, my trees are going to kind of come in here. Let's see. So this is the die cut from the Scenic Adventure. I'm telling you, a great, great, great set of dies. Let me know, again, if you think that we should use that for a class. Here's another one of the Hugs Abloom. So that's going to come in here. Okay. And then here's the flowers, also from Scenic Adventure. They will kind of nestle right in there like that. But I kind of want to put my trees where I think they're going to go so that I can have, so that I can place the birds in just the right spot. So this is the small bird image. Let me stamp off just a little bit. Okay. And so I'm looking at this one to see where they are. See how they're just kind of tucked behind the trees? I don't want to stamp them and then actually they don't show up anywhere. So I'm going to do some right here. Okay. And I'll do another set of them, maybe a little higher in that little nook. We'll do one down here. And we'll do one more kind of right up in there. Okay, cute. Just this little addition I think is so sweet. Let me put the original over here. We'll shut that. Back to Secret Sea. My favorite new color. It's right in there with Cloud Cover. What is your new favorite in color? Do you have one? A favorite in color? So you could do Happy Birthday on here. You could do You Mean the World to Me. And I'm going to do You Mean the World to Me. Right there. Okay. And we'll do a little splattering on this. We're going to do, I wish I had pecan pie out here. I don't have pecan pie out here, but we'll do a little Misty Moonlight. This is black. Sorry. I don't want black. I want Misty Moonlight. Black would be a little, it'd be okay, but it'd be a little harsh. So we're just going to do a little Misty. We'll even get some up in here. And then at the very end, we'll splatter it with Wink of Stella. And off camera, I think I will hit it with a little pecan pie. All right, so now that we have our pieces, let's just assemble this. We're going to use dimensionals. I'm going to use dimensionals that they gave us. I don't know if you've noticed today, but I've been using regular dimensionals because these, for me, for cards, they're a little bit thicker And so I just kind of, I saved these for like 3D projects, just because they have a little bit more bulk to them. And sometimes it's a little too much bulk. A little too much dimension. Okay, so the reason you want your ribbon on there, or your linen thread, is because you're gonna want to sandwich that in there. Now notice I just put the puzzle back together and I lined all the pieces back up. Okay, then this one's gonna go on with dimensionals, and I'm gonna do dimensionals towards the bottom here because I'm gonna be tucking some things under there. And let's just see right where I put that. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the corners. So even though this hangs down, I'm kind of aiming those right in that corner there. Okay, I like that, looks good. Let's go for our trees. Okay, might have to cut, you know what? Hold, folks. So remember I said these are a little heavier than the other ones? I need mini dimensionals on this because these trees just in some of these spots need minis. Okay, so we're gonna use minis. And the reason I switched is because these are they're a little thicker, and so they wouldn't be laying flat. They would be laying a little bit lopsided, which I guess would be okay, but. Hello, Teresa. Good to see you here. All right, so we are finishing this project up. We're getting close. We're just going to kind of aim. So this middle tree, it's going to be the middle tree. We'll kind of sit center. Then we'll add this other with more dimensionals. And then I'll glue the little flowers in place because there's plenty of it to sit on. They aren't going to need dimensionals, okay? All right, so cute box. Set that tree right in there. And then I'm going to glue my flowers. Actually, you know what? Right in the very center. Well, no, I'm not going to do dimensionals because I just don't know how much of it's going to show. But look how cute that little detail is to add those flowers in there like that. I think it's a sweet little detail. And then it brings it to the inside just a little bit because you see the flowers again. Okay, so just a little glue, a few spots, and we'll tuck this down inside. It almost looks like a little flower box. Okay, got some crazy linen thread on this one, and we'll splatter this with a little wink of Stella. And actually, I went through and I did kind of dot as if these were the flower centers. I know, I kind of love Wink of Stella a little too much, but we'll go ahead and just give this a good splatter all over, maybe even some bigger drops. And there you have, of course, this one's not tied, but there you have the goodie box made from a card base and an additional page of 5 by 4 inch cardstock. So pretty cute and fun. I like this little pattern. I like because you can make it right from a card base. And again, just ignore that score line that comes on the card base itself. All right. So Laura says, very cute box, saving the heirloom one for someone's birthday that you have coming up. Awesome. Yes. So Laura was at that heirloom camp and it was a really pretty one. And this is a case of that project. All right. I have one more project to share. I'm just going to show you this one because it's another one that features the scenic adventure. Let me get the linen thread out here. It's kind of hiding. It features the scenic adventure dies and how cool these are. So you haven't seen this die yet. But so, you know, that die is laid in there. It's just kind of hidden, tucked behind there. And I have more of the trees and then pieces from the kit. So let me show you. The pieces from the kit kind of went this direction. Got a dimensional hanging on. And then I did the trees and it's on a pecan pie base. Okay. And then I've got a piece here, here, and then the flowers. So if you remember, I just had cut one on the last one, but look at this. I've just created a whole border of them. And then I could come in here and add those right to my vellum here. All right, so that's kind of how I put this card together. This is really a sweet card too. I'm just loving the Scenic Adventures dies. I'm telling you, they're fantastic. Let me know if it should be a class. Again, there's the heirloom, the Hugs Abloom. And then the inside, I just did some simple stamping and some ink blending. So there's that card. I might do this one as a bonus, but you kind of saw how it came together. It really is kind of a fun one. Maybe I'll just do a picture tutorial with it. But that is it for today. We're going to have some bonus videos that I will do in the next couple of days and upload those to my, and I'm going to turn my camera here. I don't normally turn at the end. I just kind of sign off on things, but I'm going to turn because you guys wanted to see Neko. Oh, there's my messy kitchen. It's not too messy, but you know, stuff. Okay. Now, I don't know where she is because I've kind of just let her roam. So hold on. Neko. She might be in my bedroom. I'm not leaving. You wanted to see her, so let me find her. Hey, come here. What you doing? What you doing? Sleeping on a pee pad? Nice. She's left me 3 surprises. But here she is. Here's Neko. And she's little. Yeah. Say hi. This is Neko. She is a salt and pepper, and she's got a mega coat. She's got a lot of fur. You can't see her eyes. She already needs another haircut. She's had one, and she's 12 weeks old. She's already had a haircut. So anyhow, that is Neko. I'm just looking at, she is hiding. She was hiding in my room. So there she is. You wanted to see her here. She's my sweet little girl. She's really fun. She's shy right now because I woke her up. But thank you for coming today and watching my class. Don't forget, BoiseRiver.com. Vote for my picture. It's quirky. It's character filled. You know, it's just so fun. I have loved stamping with y'all. Don't forget about the giveaway. And I will catch you guys next Thursday in my VIP group, the Backstage Pass, where we're going to do some simple stamping, simple 2-step stamping with the You Are Remarkable set and the Country Woods DSP. So I will see you guys then. All right. Laura voted again. Awesome. All right. Precious. She is a good girl. She's a good girl. She's a loudmouth, man. She's super loud. Okay. Enough about her. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.